the cheat sheet here, so I won't hopefully do misspell. Anyhow, it ain't what we know that gets us in trouble, it's what we know that ain't so. Mark Twain said that a long time ago, and it's very appropriate today. And honesty and integrity are essential. Everything else can be learned. I'm running for the office of Yuba County Supervisor for District 1. The most important thing I've learned in my 5 years as a supervisor is a serenity prayer. To have the courage, or to have the serenity to realize the things I can't change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. When I graduated from the police academy in 2006, I patrolled the streets, rode the boats, went to the hills for 5 years. If you think you know your community, try riding along with a deputy. It's an eye-opening experience. As a Yuba County Reserve deputy, our prime responsibility was to make sure the deputy we were riding with was safe and came home. We were the second set of eyes and gun that enabled both of you to do the only thing between civilians and bad things happening to them. I've never been exposed to a more satisfying and rewarding moment in my life until I became a supervisor. When I first became a supervisor, I came in like a bull in a china shop. I pretty much irritated all the staff, more than my share. And I quickly learned that by and large, most of the county staff is knowledgeable, enthusiastic about their departments, and efficient. I interviewed on a radio show. Part of what you need to do is to learn about your community. I interviewed on my radio show at KMYC over 60 community and business leaders for over 2 hours. Invited some of them back. It gave me an understanding of the mechanics of the county and the people available to provide solutions. Health and Human Services, I just found out, or I found out during these interviews, has over 8,000 individuals that go through there every month. That's some of the things that we don't realize about our community. We have great people in our community, we have a good community, and they're doing a great job considering the budget cuts we've had. But at 8,000 individuals a month, that's 96,000 a year. And there's 5 people on the front counter, so you do the math and just see what we put some of these people through. I'm grateful to all the residents of Linda for the privilege of representing our district as supervisors in 2009. I believe we should be proud of our county and have seen a change in the attitude of Linda residents who are seeing future positive possibilities. Yuba County is certainly poised for a very prosperous future for all our residents. You have the Lincoln bypass, the Wheatland annexation. We have 2 Dollar General stores opening up. We've got a 3rd one opening up and a possibility of 4th one going in. We've got a Valero station that opened up. They're building an Edgewater and Plymouth Lake. My priorities this year will be new sheriff's facility, water relicensing, and jobs. And one of the never mind, we'll answer questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. And we'll now hear from Cynthia Peña, up to 3 minutes.
Good evening. As previously mentioned, my name is Cynthia Peña and I'm running for Yuba County District 1 Supervisor. I have been asked why am I running, and the answer is simple. I want to provide positive representation consisting of communication with the other 4 district supervisors to provide a united county as a whole. My goals as District 1 Supervisor is to provide positive representation, economic advancement, and safer communities. I have a stake in the community of Linda, not only because I have my business there, but because I raised my family there. I have built strong, positive working relationships with the other business partners and community members. Also, my children go to school in Linda, so I have a very strong vested interest in the future of Linda. Being of service to my community, it is embedded in my heart and soul, and I pride myself with being able to establish cohesive working relationships with the people from all spectrums. I accept the challenges that will come as being a member of the Board of Supervisors. After all, I am the youngest of 11, and I've always had to make certain that my voice was heard above my siblings. That is what I want to do for the residents of Linda. Bring positive representation and allow their voices to be heard. I am prepared to serve the residents of Yuba County because I believe in the people and I believe in the community. I believe that I am the right person at the right time, and the time is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. This microphone is my microphone working?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And this microphone, we will hit the on switch here. And again, does anybody have questions for the audience, from the audience for the candidates that haven't been picked up yet? Raise your hand, and we'll get to a few of those intermixed with ones from the Government Affairs Committee. And again, as you're writing questions, the questions need to be applicable to both candidates and not steered towards one or the other, if we could, please. And with that, we'll have our first question. And we'll start with Andy Vasquez. What is Yuba County not now doing that could boost the number of businesses moving into the county to provide more jobs and a larger tax roll? Currently, the official unemployment rate for March is pegged at 16.1% in the Yuba Sutter area, and more than 20% when factoring in those who have quit looking for work. Andy, and then we'll have Cynthia answer after you.
Well, I think they're a little short on the unemployment figures. 15% is real shy. I think we're closer to 30 to 40 if you count people who are on some kind of government subsistence that can't find a job. One of the problems that we have as a county is that our fees are sometimes considered high, but in all reality, they're what's required to meet the needs of the expenses of the government. You can't lose money when you go to put businesses in. But right now, the best thing we need to do is to advertise Yuba County as business friendly, and we're trying to provide a more positive environment for them to come into. The glove factory was one item. We responded with a loan through the EDC in a matter of weeks. And so we can do it, all we have to do is get... Wow. We're rough.
First part of the question, what is Yuba County not now doing that could boost the number of businesses moving into the county and to provide more jobs and a larger tax roll?
Well, the first and foremost is that we need to beautify it, to make members of other communities want to bring their business to Linda. And by doing that is assisting the business people to cut through all of the red tape that there is currently at the county. There are several businesses in Linda right now that they're working out of their homes, their garage. I have assisted through my business there because I do payroll and bookkeeping for 15 local businesses. And I was shocked to find out when opening up my own business is that Yuba County does not require us to have a business license. So how can they keep track of the businesses that are there? So that is one of the things I would like to implement and help the business community work and cut through the red tape to open their business in Linda.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next question. Can you hear me? Every candidate wants more jobs, but a lot of times that's just another nice campaign topic and not much changes. Do you have some firm ideas in mind about what you will push to implement?
People say they want jobs. Well, it's like asking for world peace. You know, it's just, the jobs, yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, Cynthia was supposed to start with this question.
That's all right.
Okay, we'll go there.
All right.
We'll get back.
Well, one of the things we did when I first became a supervisor was to provide a business directory for Linda, because people are unaware of how many businesses are in there. This book cost me about 10 grand to put out and actually hand delivered to every house in Linda. This is a pretty hard copy situation. what I've got coming out, and I've had it out 3 or 4 times, is this goes to the entire county. We need to let people in the entire county know that there are things in businesses in Linda. You've got over 100 businesses in the area of Linda, so that's one of the things that I started. It's kind of hard to.
Well, maybe you should go by the 15-minute
Thanks, Jack.
rule.
You know, just you're trying to cut things off, and yeah.
I understand.
Well, creating more jobs in the county is, in every county in the United States right now. And it's just working and having open communication with the county and the people that want to open up businesses, and helping them and assisting and offering suggestions on how they can do that.
Okay, we'll start the next question with Cynthia. Water rights are a huge issue right now as the new Bullard's Bar Dam is in the relicensing phase. It's very likely that the county will have a water fight on its hands with the legislators from Southern California wanting to take control of more and more of the water. What makes you the best candidate when it comes to fighting the state on water rights issues?
Well, currently the Water District is one of the most respected water agencies in California right now. And I will, with the relicensing, that is, the next 4 years is going to be the most imperative for that. And I will fight for what my community, as a county as a whole, would want us to do with that and keep our water here. Keep the decisions made local. That would affect the rest of California.
Okay, Andy?
Okay, for the past 3 years, I've attended a water conference in Southern California because what I found out is that people talk different down there than they do up here. They come up here and tell us everything that we want to hear. When I first went down there, they had scholarship 20 law students from Davis to work on rewriting the water rights. So I wanted to keep going down there and finding out what's happening. And the last time I was down there, they were discussing what crops that we should as farmers grow, and how much we're using 80% of the water in the state of California for 2% of the general GDP. They're misstating facts, and we have to be extremely careful and extremely aggressive in going after these false rumors. Supervisor Robbie has a booklet that disputes each one of those facts that just came out in print. Was that
Okay.
Okay.
We'll start this question with Andy. Beale Air Force Base has a payroll of $460 million. Outside of Beale, the county's private and government payrolls amount to about $480 million. What can we do to keep Beale here and to increase missions? As you know, our reconnaissance missions are, excuse the pun, up in the air regarding their futures.
Well, Beale is an important part of our community, has been an important part of our community, but there have been changes to Beale and changes to the mission in Beale, and the U2 is a question mark right now whether they're going to pull it out of there or not. Beale itself, the center divider going down North Beale Avenue is the first major improvement in North Beale in almost 35 years. And we hopefully will get Beale to start utilizing that, but they've shifted the traffic from the front gate to the Wheatland gate, so that's decreasing traffic on there. There's a number of reasons why traffic is decreased on North Beale. One of the biggest problems we have is that Yuba College opened up 2 campuses. There are equal student spread on the campuses, so you have people who used to drive to Yuba County. They're not going to Yuba County, they're staying in Sutter.
We apologize for
Give you a ruler.
We apologize for the microphone issues. We're having trouble with all 3 microphones right now.
We can stand up.
Just speak up loudly, and I think they'll be able to hear you. You can use the microphone every once in a while to blast in.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, Beale Air Force Base has a payroll of about $460 million. Outside of Beale, the county's private and governmental payrolls amount to about $480 million. So what can we do to keep Beale here and to increase missions? And one of the things we're having a lot of issues over right now is the future of our reconnaissance planes continuing to fly out of Beale or continuing to fly at all.
Well, every time a new mission comes into Beale Air Force Base, it does bring about 150 new faces out there. And it's not working. Oh, there it is now. And it is really important. There's really good communication with the base right now. And they're so willing to come in and educate us about what we can do for them. And again, it's just open communication and listening to their ideas and their thoughts and assisting them in any way that we can to keep them here. Oh, do I start?
No, you get it.
Yeah,
The
you'll
next
be
one.
the next question. In most instances, consolidation of services, such as police and fire in particular, within the county or even with other counties, could save a lot of money. Do you agree with consolidation? Do you agree that it's a good move?
No, I don't. And on some things,
Why don't you go ahead and we'll start using the podium up there for the answers. I apologize for that. So if you like step the podium and we'll just rotate up there. You know that one works.
You want me to go over that one?
No, because we have it, we're filming it, and that'll be a problem.
All right. We'll take it. A few minutes we're out and sit down here. I charge you by the mile.
Okay. Cynthia?
okay. On some things you can consolidate, but if you're a police officer, you're trained as a police officer, not as a fireman. Some people are trained in both, but if you're trained as a fireman, you're not trained as a paramedic. And consolidating those services, it would be very, very confusing on which role that you need to take, whether it be the first responder as the fireman, the dispatcher. You can't have a dispatcher and a fireman together. It would be very confusing. So I do not agree with that, and I believe we should keep it separate.
Andy?
A lot of things could be consolidated. Fire departments could be consolidated. Water agencies could be consolidated. Police could be consolidated. But you just lit a fire storm because every one of those has their own specific little kingdom, and it's going to be very difficult to consolidate those. You have to go through LAFCO. It's a nice thing to say, we're going to consolidate, but there's a procedure that goes through, and it's very lengthy. And one of the problems you have is the different tax rates. Because if you had Linda Fire running a call in Marysville, they don't pay the same rate as they do in Linda or in Plymouth Lake. Plymouth Lake's got nice little fees all set up, and it's what would happen is one department would subsidize the other areas of the city. So consolidation sounds good, but it's not as easy as it looks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Andy, you might as well go ahead and stay up there. And the next question is, how do you feel the relations are between Marysville and between Sutter and Yuba County? Give some examples of what's working and what's not working when it comes to working together for the betterment of the city and the county.
Interesting question. There was a discussion at one of the meetings on why do we make this one big county? Because as a community, Yuba Sutter cooperates more with each other than probably the entire state cooperates with the state. We have bi-county, soon to be tri-county juvenile hall system. We have bi-county health and human services. We have mental health. We have so many things that are commingled that, I think that if we seriously took a look at combining both counties and become a force up here. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this one goes back to, no, my microphone's not, there it goes.
We have a radio station.
What? This one goes back a couple of years, but we're asking if you would favor bringing back Measure T for another countywide vote. Why or why not?
Cynthia needs to
Can
respond
you
to that
repeat
first
the other
question.
question?
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're waiting for the first question.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We're both jumping the gun a little bit here. Okay.
How do you feel the relations between Sutter and Yuba County are? Give some examples of what's working, what's not working when it comes to working together for the betterment of our region.
Well, like Andy said, with the Bi-County Juvenile Hall Services, soon to be Tri-County, they're working very well together. There's always room for improvement in anything that we do, but it's still, if we keep the open communications with both counties, we can move forward.
Very good. Go ahead, Nancy. The next question, which I shot the starting block on that. Would you favor bringing back Measure T for another countywide vote? Why or why not?
No, I wouldn't. I don't believe that if a property owner wants to build a barn, that they would, after owning it for so long, that they would have to put it on a ballot to vote on the issue. I do not agree with that.
Okay, thank you. And I guess the next question is going to start,
Okay.
or go to
You want
Andy.
me to talk
He has
about
to
it?
answer.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about Measure T.
I don't know how many millions of dollars we spent in 8 years. Our general plan was worked on, and it is not like recycled paper. It's a huge document, and a lot of time and effort and thought went into that. And what Measure T did is it took it out of the hands of our general plan and put it up for a vote of the vote of the people. The problem people don't understand is that when you pass a resolution where the voters have to vote on everything, anything you pass on the ballot has to be changed by the ballot. So just looking at the lottery, the equivalent things that were called for on the lottery are still have to be used unless they get a vote of the people. So it's just a very cumbersome device to do what our planning department can do over the county.
Okay. Andy, this question is from the audience. What is your stance on the casino project?
I'm not as arrogant to think that I can influence the casino coming or not coming. What we can do, and the serenity prayer comes in at this point in time, is that we had an MOU that was done in 2002. I'm not sure, but it's 2014. It's 12 years. Things have changed. If I could buy gas the same as I could buy it in 2002, I would buy it. What we can do as a Board of Supervisors is reevaluate the MOU and bring it up to the current financial fiscal standards. So, but the casino itself is a state and a federal decision. We won't make it here.
I support the casino. It will provide more jobs for the county, and I've been a firm believer of this. A lot of people that are opposing it said it will bring more addiction, but the people that are addicted to gambling, they're already driving and spending their monies in other counties right now. So I am for the casino because it will provide a lot of jobs and entertainment, local entertainment as well. So instead of having our community go to other communities to spend their money, I would like them to spend it locally.
Okay. And we'll start the next question with you, Cynthia. The county's sphere of influence was set with its revised general plan. Do you feel that all new businesses and homes being built should stay in the current sphere of influence, or should we extend that sphere of influence, make exceptions?
I didn't hear the first sentence.
The county's sphere of influence was set with its revised general plan. Do you feel that all new businesses and homes built should stay in the current sphere of influence, or should we extend that sphere of influence?
we should extend it. We should extend it and open that up to provide more homes that people can live in. The more homes it will bring to the county, then it will bring more people that would want to buy in their local communities instead of other places.
Andy?
The ink hasn't dried on the general plan yet. You know, we kind of have to let it work its way out. We're finding problems with zoning changes that were made, and we're working on those, and we have to work within that general plan. You're required by law to do that. You can't just say, well, let's change this. But if we need to let the people in planning and building do what they've worked very hard to get that general plan, work within the constraints of the general plan, and make our place a friendlier organization. We just had a land deal that almost went south, and our building department rescued it.
Okay, and Andy, this next question is for you.
Okay.
Plymouth Lake appears to be set to grow again. What have we learned from the mini boom of the early 2000s? What can we do better?
I don't have enough time. But Plymouth Lake is set to grow. Edgewater is set to grow. Wheatland is set to grow. Wheatland has just finished its general plan. The annexation is going through right now. We have 4 lanes of freeway dumped out on the Lincoln bypass. This county as a whole is set to grow. All we have to do is follow the plan that we have and work within that plan and modify it instead of throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Cynthia?
Can you repeat the question?
Send them a bill for mileage.
Yes, the question was, Plymouth Lake appears to be set to grow again. What have we learned from the early 2000s, the boom in the early 2000s, and what can we do better?
Well, there's plenty of room for growth in this county, and we do have to implement more changes and more security for homeowners to come in and want to build, or builders to come in and build. We have a lot to learn still from that, or following through on the plans that are there. A lot could have been done differently. We should just follow the plan.
Okay, we'll start with Cynthia on the next question. Other than what we've already talked about, what do you see as the main problem facing Yuba County government, and what will you do to address this problem?
Can you repeat it? Because when you're talking, I'm hearing this. This is maybe remember this.
What do you see as the main problem facing Yuba County government, other than what we've already talked about? Or you can expound on something we've already talked about. And what will you do to address this problem?
Well, one of the main issues that I see now is the communications with all of the districts. There is not positive communications within all of the districts. I had a supervisor ask me recently what is going on in my district, and I found that very, very weird that they have been sitting on the board and they don't know what's going on in District 1. Because what is important to District 3 or District 2 or District 4 should be important to the District 1 supervisor and vice versa. So that needs to be worked on.
The last one. Still out there, but the 3 priorities I said, Sheriff's Department.
Okay, go ahead. Maybe the speaker.
Off.
The problem is you're right.
Turn it off, please.
It's off. It's
That-
off.
that-
It's just me making that squeal. I think all of a sudden
What do I do?
mine's overworking.
Turn the mic off and just speak real loud.
We can hear you up here if you don't.
Well, we're recording this and they can't hear recordings.
Okay. All right, there are three priorities that I put out, and one was, first one was Sheriff's Department, the second one was water. Those two should be the ultimate priorities for our county. Sheriff's facility first. We've got our Sheriff's Department stretched way too thin. We've got a building spot sitting there. Let's go. We have actually started movement toward that. The board made a decision to go ahead with the Sheriff's facility with the money that we have so that we can start getting some relief to the Sheriff's Department because they're working out of closets right now. As far as water, I talked about water before, and we need to be very aggressive in our approach toward other districts that are looking to tell us how to plant crops and what to do with our groundwater. Our groundwater supply, our groundwater plans, I gave those to the Sierra Club. They copied those. Felicia Marcus, Department of Water Resources, has a copy of our latest plan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Andy, the next question is going to be for you. This is from the audience. What can you do about the panhandling issue?
You know, it's one thing to look at problems that are going to affect the whole community, and I'm thinking that panhandling is not a high priority right now. It's something that we can address, but to put up ordinances for every little thing is not going to solve the problems. We have to address the big problems first. You know, when you're rearranging the deck chairs in the Titanic, and California is sinking. When you have a governor that tells you he has a balanced budget with $17 billion in cash shortfall, there's the captain is got steel marbles in his hand. So, all right.
Okay.
I never really thought about the panhandlers. I just, but they sometimes are a problem when you're driving out of Walmart and they're in your way. But if, you know, certain issues do need change, but with that, if they are a problem, then you should notify the Sheriff's Department. Right now, there is no ordinance that I know right now in Yuba County for the panhandling, but they are taking place on private property. Notify the property owner.
Okay. The next question, we'll start with you, and this is also from the audience. Yuba County Supervisors have recently voted to support the concept of the county being part of the state of Jefferson. Do you support this action? Is it just making a statement, or is it a feasible idea financially and logistically?
I would support it. I do support it. I don't see that it's feasible or that it will happen, but I do support it. I don't think that Congress or the United States is going to rewrite the Constitution. It is a good idea. I do support it, but I don't see it happening.
Well, having voted in the positive on that, a lot of people miss the point. It's not so much a separate state, it's the fact that we don't count. We have not counted since the Supreme Court decision stripped us of our representation in the Senate. The important thing is to realize that we need to stand up and fight for our right to representation. And that's a prime article in the first 3 paragraphs are about the fact that we have one senator for 1 million people. Kind of dilutes his efforts. He can't really pay attention. So I think when we have 58 counties with equal representation in the Senate, you're going to see a more stable state.
Thank you.
Andy, this question's for you also. This is from the audience. Domestic violence is impacting our homes, schools, and law enforcement. What do you see as the county government's role in preventing, intervening, and treating this issue?
Well, there's any number of things the county is attempting to do. I'm on the Substance Abuse Advisory Board and the Mental Health Advisory Board. We're combining both boards to try and stop the generational problems that we have through counseling the families and other things, but back to the sheriff's department, we need to get the sheriff's facility up with proper manning of the patrol cars. You have guys stretched too thin. When you get into a domestic violence case, you gotta send at least two deputies there, and that's right now 2 cars or more. So we have to address the fact that we're pretty thin on responding to the calls in the sheriff's department. So I'm saying prioritize our needs of the county.
Domestic violence has been an issue for many, many years, and when people are educated on the issue that it's not okay to hit a man or hit a woman, teach them early. There could be the county could work hand in hand with the school district. I know there's a lot of organizations that are doing that to provide education to teach children that no matter how they're treated at home, that they do not have to grow up and be abusers or get abused.
Okay. Next question. We'll start with Cynthia. If you're elected, who do you consider to be your constituents? Those in your district or the county as a whole?
The county as a whole. It's very important to work together and to provide a united county. Just because there's 5 districts doesn't mean that you work separate from those, or the city council, or businesses. You are working for a united county, and we should strive for that.
Well, you represent your constituents as best you can with the county in mind, to where Supervisor Nicoletti's in the back, and one of his claims to fame is to try and get a united board, because it works. In a lot of cases, we have a united board. We have 5-0 votes. We have a couple of 4-1 votes. But it's important that we work together as a group toward the common goal of betterment of the county. And you know, you can represent your people the best way you can, but you have to also take into consideration the needs of the county.
Okay, and Andy, this is the final question from the audience?
Two more questions.
2 more questions, okay. From the audience, how do you make Yuba County more attractive for businesses than other neighboring counties? And what can Yuba County offer that other counties can't?
Well, Yuba County, like I said, is poised for growth, and a lot of things, once they start coming into alignment, the relicensing is a big thing. But it's 2 years down the pike. We have to strengthen our sheriff's department. We have to make this a more pleasant place to live in. And by and large, you know, there are good areas in our community. At Edgewater, we had over 500 people at a get-together at the Easter egg hunt. It was about 30 seconds it took for the kids to get that. But I think as a board, we're working toward a more positive attitude for our staff toward people coming in here, and I think people are reacting positively to that. So. Terry sitting back there has a proclamation. She's got one of the best customer service departments I've ever seen.
Can you repeat the question?
Actually, how do you make Yuba County more attractive for businesses than other neighboring counties? And what can Yuba County offer that other counties can't?
Well, I know there's several organizations right now that do different cleanups, and small amounts of groups come together to do that. Instead of having all of these separate community cleanups, put them all together and have one big cleanup. And the more and more people and groups that you get together to invest their time and their energy to clean up their own community, then the better community that you have.
Okay, and we have time for one more question, and that'll be, do you support transporting San Francisco trash to the Ostrom Road landfill?
Some of it I do support, others I do not support. So I would have to say no.
The trash issue is a big issue in Wheatland. It's a big issue in our county. We've got one of the few disposal sites. As far as where Collegy goes, as far as the trash, those contracts are signed, and unless they break those contracts, violate those provisions of those contracts, they are going. It's already been done. So it's not up to me. It's not up to the board.
Okay. And we're going to start the closing statement with Cynthia Peña. If you'd like to, you have up to 2 minutes to give a closing statement.
I'd just like to thank the Yuba Chamber of Commerce for providing us with this opportunity and to come before all of you, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. When I began this race, I was very overwhelmed with making this decision. I had to make sure that it was okay with my family first to jump into this, and I respect anybody more than ever now if they run for a political position. It's a lot of work. You as well have to be invested in, as well as all of your family, your friends, your staff, everybody around you. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of the support that I have had. And I'm in it to win it, no matter what. And I'm very invested into this campaign. I'm invested into this community. And I want to be and provide the best positive representation that I can for this county. Thank you.
Well, when I was first appointed in 2009, they said it would be like drinking from a fire hose, and it hasn't stopped in 5 years. This job looks easy. John will tell you, it ain't as easy as it looks, kind of balancing on a log. And I'm just starting to get my sea legs after 5 years, and I think that any politician serves as a supervisor. It takes a while for them to get there, but I'm also a believer that you start serving more than 2 terms, you start becoming a little part of the problem situation. But I've really enjoyed. I've been blessed to be allowed to be a supervisor, and I look forward to another 4 years. And these 4 years, it's out of the gate going to be more productive than your original 3-year learning curve. So as far as the county itself, like I said, we're on the verge of growing more than any other county I've ever seen. We've got the Wheatland annexation going, the general plan, our positive general plan, the relicensing, the Bullard's Bar. We've got the facility built through the vision of so many. People don't realize that through the visionaries, Sheriff Tyndall and Sheriff Virginia Black, and carrying on through Sheriff Durford, we get $6 million each year to provide services for our sheriff's department. Without that, you wouldn't have near the quality that you would have today. So there's been a lot of groundwork laid for a very, very prosperous Yuba County, and I look forward to it the next 2 to 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to both our candidates, Andy Vasquez, Cynthia Peña, running for District 1 Supervisor. And just like to remind you that these series of forums are sponsored by the Yuba Chamber of Commerce, the Yuba Farm Bureau, and the Appeal Democrat newspaper.